What happened to your son?
So my kids are 22 months apart. Same thing when he was born. I had not detoxed. I had not been aware of that. So whatever was left had been transferred to him.
Also,
Um,
you delivered your second child while your daughter was sick at the
so
same time.
so my son was 1 years old when my daughter was 3 when her hair fell out. She was 2 when he was born,
Mhm,
so things started happening, but I had already given birth to him,
mhm.
and so when she was 3, he was 1, and that's when I had made drastic changes in our house and environment. My son had a neck trauma at birth. I didn't know until later, but his symptoms really started showing up around 10 months, almost a year.
Bridge delivery?
Natural.
Natural.
Yeah, it was what happened was I had asked for an epidural when I got to the hospital. I was already 7 centimeters. And so I was sitting while they were trying to get it in my back, and I was crowning. I shouldn't have even asked for it, but when you're in that moment, you're like, "Anything to help." And, I was crowning while he was still trying to get the epidural in. He never was able to get it in, so I ended up delivering naturally, but when I was sitting and crowning, his head was hitting, um, which I didn't realize until later, and I started piecing together. Because when I gave birth, I was on all fours, so I was like, "What happened?" But around 9 or 10 months, I mean, he would just scream. I mean, scream uncontrollably, and he's not vaccinated. I never gave him any injections, and so I knew it wasn't that, but I wasn't even able to touch his head. I mean, I would put one finger on his head and he would scream. I wasn't able to brush his teeth.
Oh, wow.
He was waking up every 45 minutes at night for a whole entire year, screaming, screaming. He would have horrific tantrums or night terrors, or he would he was unconsolable. And I again, thankfully had already found Human Garage and found out that I could relieve the tension in his head.
But you didn't go to the regular doctor, right?
We were still getting chiropractic care, but I wasn't seeing any changes. I wasn't, and they were telling me because they had done tests on him that his nervous system was in fight or flight, which I could tell. It was very obvious. He was walking on his tippy toes. He was, um, he was just constantly fired up, and he was so little that I knew his nervous system was obviously dysregulated. And so I just started doing fascia work on him. I really started digging in and working his head. And at first, he would scream, he would cry, he would, fight me. But I would do a torque on his head as he was crying and screaming. But then within 20 seconds, he was done, and his eyes would light up.
What exactly did to work?
Yeah. So the way fascia works is you want to
There's fascia in here as well?
There's fascia in your cheek. It's literally everywhere, in your
Mhm,
eyes, in your head, in your ears. So we hold so much tension as humans in our ears and in our head, in our jaw.
mhm.
And so what I did a lot of times is right hand facing backwards, left hand facing forward. You can do it opposite way too, but you squeeze your head and you torque so that your hands are meeting on top. So it's bringing a torquing sensation throughout there. And then you wait about 3 to 6 breaths and it releases the fascia. I started pulling and tugging on his ears super hard, and again, it doesn't feel good. It's quite painful, especially when you're dealing with so much stagnation. But I would do this when he was in the middle of these extreme tantrums that were lasting 20 minutes or so, and I would just start working his body. And I mean, my husband wasn't even a believer until he saw that within 30 to 60 seconds after I did work on him, the screaming stopped, his eyes changed, he was completely shifted. So I realized he was just having an insane amount of tension and stagnation that needed to be released, which then would releasing the emotional outbursts that he was having.
Have you ever told this to your pediatric?
I never went back.
Like never.
No.
What do you think they would tell you?
That I was crazy.
But you solved the problem. You healed him.
Yeah.
His screaming stopped. They will
I
never admit that? They will never practice something like this?
His pediatrician?
Yeah.
I don't believe so. Not from what I experienced. There was no room for conversation. I had started bringing up questions such as even toxins like glyphosate and things like that. My pediatrician had never even heard of glyphosate. I had
You
basically
mean the word? He
he
didn't
had
know what
never
it
heard of
is?
it. And again, he had been in practice for a minimum of 10 years. But no, the amount of control and gaslighting that went on in that office, um, I honestly was scared to go back. And at that point, I just didn't have the energy. I had so much energy that I had been putting into finding what was going on with my kids and myself because I was through all of it, I was experiencing severe issues and I was sick. I did not feel great. And then on top of it, my husband's out of the home working 60 to 70% out of the time. So a good chunk of it I'm a single mom. And I didn't wanna go back. I didn't wanna go back. I didn't wanna fight. I didn't wanna have that conversation. Now, the position that I'm in years later, I would, but at the same time,
Have you ever met in your life a good doctor?
You mean in the medical field?
Yes.
Um,
So this boss tells all. Like,
yeah.
how is it possible?
I
Where are
think
all the good doctors?
yeah. I think the, education for doctors is not what we thought it was. I think the education for doctors is really pharmaceutical driven. And I think that the majority of doctors nowadays really don't understand how the body works. And most of them have such a high ego that they're not even willing to have a conversation with you because you're just a mother. You're just someone who didn't go to school like I did. That's really how it's crazy, but that's really how I was treated. And so, yeah.
Okay, please continue. So you started tweaking his head, his ears,
Yeah.
massaging the fascia. What's next?
Yeah, so I mean, I do the full body, but I really focused on his head because he was having so many issues. And he has grown and is thriving. We still struggle with some symptoms because I believe his nervous system goes in and out of fight or flight extremely easily. So we're constant. I mean, I do fascia work on them every single day. I do fascia work on myself every single day.
How long does it last? 10, 15, 20 minutes a day?
To do the work
Yeah.
on the kids, it takes me anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes. On myself, depending how much time I have, 2 to 40 minutes. Some days I'm literally at the park just doing it as my kids are playing, and some days my husband's home and I can go upstairs and do a whole 40-minute session. But you don't need much time just to really, especially when you learn the areas that you're holding most of your stress, you can easily do a quick little, they call them fascia maneuvers, and release that stress and you'll instantly feel so much better.
Where can people learn this?
So Human Garage, they're on all social media platforms. They have a phenomenal program that you can join. It's called the 28-day reset. And they teach you the foundation of health. They literally teach you how to hydrate your body on a cellular level. They teach you how to remove the environmental toxins. And they teach you how to open up the stagnation within your fascia. And the programs that they have provided, I could not recommend them enough to every single person. They've completely changed my life.